sure that we have sent to you. You know some things about me already. So these are some dry facts about my teaching career. And I wanted to start the session with a kind of warm-up that will help us to get to know each other better. And I came up with an exercise, let's say, which is called ABC About Me. I don't know if you played it, but let's try it online. So you all know the letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, and so on. And I want you to think of something that if you take each letter of the alphabet, some kind of association that is meaningful for you, or that means represents you in some kind of way. For example, A for me stands for Anna. She is my daughter, she is 5, and we are very connected, let's say. B for me stands for Barcelona. That's my dream destination. And hopefully when this coronavirus situation is over, I will have a chance to visit this city. C stands for Chisinau. That's my home city. This is where I was born. This is where I live. A, B, C, D. D means I'm a dog person, and you already know that I have 2 dogs. Yesterday we talked about it, 2 Cocker Spaniels. So that represents me as a dog person. E stands for elephant. That's a very vivid childhood memory. I have seen an elephant in the zoo, but we have a photo in our family where my dad is riding an elephant, and it's was shocking discovery that a person can ride an animal. So we keep this picture framed, and it's a kind of pride in our family. And F stands for family, which is a priority for me right now. So see about some time, think what these 6 letters stand for you, what they represent for you, and use the chat box to share some information. Okay, Darina likes apples. Anastasia is ambitious. For Ina, A stands for ambition. Diana is amazing. Doina is ambitious. Hey, Alona Podolyan, that's the first letter of your name, yes. Animal lovers. Active Larissa, yes. A for Allah, your name, good. Alexandra, my daughter, okay. My mother, okay. Somebody visited America. It's going too fast, okay. America, artistic. F for friendship, yes. B, Bogdan for son. Albania, wow, dream country. Argentina, dream destination, okay. Like across the ocean. C for Chimishlia, hello Chimishlia Rodika. B for belts, hello to belts. E, education. Kaushen, hello. Drokia D, hello to Drokia. Falesht, okay, so we're covering all the Moldova today. That's a very nice thing. Yes, you can continue introducing yourself in the chat box. And I will introduce the agenda. So what are we going to do in this 60 minutes? I have selected 10 engaging activities to teach vocabulary. I practice them with my students, and my students are mostly adults, but I taught university level students, high school students, and gymnasium level students. So I guess you can adapt, you can try with any level of students and see how it works in your teaching environment. Currently I'm teaching online, so I will share some online resources I use in my teaching practice, and hopefully with this COVID situation, you can also use them in your teaching practice. And we will try these activities, some of them, and you will see how it really works. So that's the plan. And before we dive into practice, I wanted to start with some ideas, like theoretical thing. Everybody now is talking in ELT community, at least, about teaching lexically, which is an approach that insists on the primacy of words over the grammar. It means that we as teachers should pay more attention to teaching words rather than teaching grammar structures. So this principle or this approach was introduced in 1990s by Michael Lewis, who said that language is made up of lexical units, or as they call them, lexical chunks. And if you know some lexical chunks, you can survive in an English-speaking world. But if you know only the grammar, so you can be lost. So that's the primary objective of the teacher, is to equip students with the right words and right lexical chunks. You can read more about this approach in Teaching Lexically, Principles and Practice by Hugh Deller and Andrew Walkley. And the second idea that attracted my attention when I was getting ready for this webinar was said by Stephen Krashen, who is a famous linguist. And he said, we acquire language when we understand it, and it should be interesting, and it has to be a lot of it. So that's a ring, a kind of bell in my head, that to understand it, we need to find some equivalents. We need to work with vocabulary to discover what does it mean in our language, and maybe compare things, whatever. So something that should be done to help us understand and comprehend what this phrase or chunk, lexical chunk means. And the second keyword I underlined is that it should be interesting. So what can we as teachers do to make this immersion into the language interesting for our students? And of course, games came to my mind. So I will share with you some activities that are engaging, that are interactive, but game designers don't call them games because they don't involve sometimes thinking strategy. And some activities that are pure games because they require you to use your logic and to apply some kind of strategy to solve this game or to become the winner. And the first one, the easiest, you probably know it, Tic Tac Toe, noughts and crosses, that we can use when we teach vocabulary. So the principle is the same. We have this field in squares, and each square is supplied with a word we studied or we want to revise. The students take turns. They are in pairs, or they can be in teams, team of crosses, teams of knots, team of knots, and they take turns trying to explain one word in the square. So I will need 2 volunteers to play this game. Could you please unmute your microphones and switch on your cameras if you would like to play this game online? Yes.
Let's play.
Can you introduce yourself?
Christina,
you
cannot see me?
For me to find
yes.
you.
Okay.
Okay, Christina and
Larissa.
Larissa, perfect. So Christina, please choose a square and try to explain it.
So this is the the weather. Let's say the weather phenomena.
Thunder?
Yeah, exactly.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Thunder, okay.
So, okay, it's my turn now, right?
Yeah.
For Christina, 1 point. She wins the square. Larissa?
Yeah. This is a process when the thing or the stuff changes its
to
from
melt.
one state to another state.
To melt, no?
Right.
Okay. This is the
one thing turns into another state to melt?
Yep.
Yes.
This is the activity when you are really very hungry.
Very hungry.
State, yes, very hungry. It's the state
Starve.
of being hungry.
To
Yeah.
starve.
Mhm.
Okay. The next word is something. When we don't have a lot of rain, when
Drought.
we don't have much rain.
Drought.
Drought. Yeah,
Okay.
right.
This is the okay. It's again the weather phenomena when it rains and when you see like kind of ice stones are coming down, are falling
Hailstorm.
down. Yeah.
Hailstorm.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me think. The next word. Help me.
You need to explain the rifle, right?
Yes.
So that's what?
That is.
Actually, she can explain another one, but I will not win. But it's okay.
Okay. Yes. Let me think.
Chat, a gun we have?
A gun, yes.
Kind
Okay.
of weapon.
Yeah, it's a rifle, exactly. Rifle.
Right.
Okay.
So we have the winner. Larissa, you are the winner.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah, long
Easy
gun. It's a
win.
kind of weapon you can use when you go hunting, for example. You can kill a bear using this thing. And it shoots.
Okay.
Yes, device for shooting.
Good
Perfect.
to know.
So if you were attentive, we had here adjectives, nouns, and verbs.
Tough,
Right.
yes.
Yes, and one thing I attract my students' attention to is when you give a definition, be attentive that you define a noun, so then you can say it's a thing, it's a natural phenomena, it's a something, right? When you define a verb, like to starve, so you define an action, so it's an action or it's like, so that verb has a definition for the verb. When you say that it's an activity, it looks like it's a noun. Like, so then it should be starvation. It's an activity when there is not enough food. But if it's a verb, make the definition so that it sounds like a verb. To have not enough food, not to have enough food, to lack food, to feel hungry. So that verb coincides with verb.
Yeah,
thank you, ladies, for helping me playing this game. Yes.
You're welcome.
So that's how we can practice vocabulary. And another activity, which probably you also know, is called battleships. I also transformed it into a lexical game. So when we spoke about family, that was Advanced English Language File Unit 1B, I selected all the vocabulary that we practiced in that unit, and I hid some ships behind the words. So I have 2 single-deck ships, 2 double-deck ships, 1 3-deck ship, and 1 4-deck ship behind these words. You have to shoot, choose the letter and the number, see what's the word you want to use in a sentence this time, and see if you can find my ships. Everyone who wants to play, you can unmute your microphones, choose your target, and make up a sentence using that phrase or word. If the sentence is correct, we will see what is behind the word, behind that square.
May I?
Yes, please.
B2. I didn't want to be a black sheep in my family.
Perfect. Yes, and you can go on.
I may continue till the...
Yes.
Okay. C4. She was educated by a single parent.
Okay, thank you.
May I
Can
continue?
I try?
Or the others also want to?
Let's give turn to somebody else.
Okay.
Can I try?
Yes, please.
So Pink, the singer, yes, the singer Pink is expressing the family, the real family portraits in her song.
Okay, she sings about family portraits. C2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And own flesh and blood. Okay. Yeah, it's D2, of course, just to tell the
Yes.
sentence.
D2.
Yeah.
Flesh and blood.
Difficult to get it. It's the expression that is. Let's own our flesh and blood. I have no idea here.
May I?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Flesh and blood.
Cornelia, no matter how difficult it might be, you will never turn back on your own flesh and blood.
Perfect. So you never want to put them at some kind of risk. Perfect, Cornelia. So we have one ship discovered, and so we can continue finding the ships, or you can ask your students. Yes, finding the ships. Or you can ask your students to use their own words that they find difficult, and they can create the same thing at home, and you will play next lesson in class. So this was second activity. Third one also is connected with word lists, so words we have to memorize to learn. And we have hangman.no online website, which can help us practice. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we are now on a web page, hangman.no. We have 3 languages to choose from. So if we are practicing English, so that's how it goes. We can start a game and you will see a list of topics that they already suggest, or you can create your own word list. And that's what I basically do, because my word lists are specific when we work with the text or when we get ready to write a dictation, which we always do with my elementary students. It helps them with spelling, because spelling is very tricky. So, for example, I will select all the words, all the verbs from the text we are about to write, type it here, add word, it appears in my word list. Okay, what was there? For example, yes, then I can save it, and it will give me 2 types of codes. Your play code is, which I will share with my students, and my edit code is, which is for me. I can paste it and then add the words or delete the words and so on. So if I copy this one, we go back to Hangman. Enter code, introduce it here. And we have the game that I have just created. 4 words, your alphabet. Let's try to guess which verb I coded here. Letters S. Okay, no such letter. O. B.
Bottle.
Yes, so we guessed the word and we see we revised how to spell it. So you will also need a piece of paper now, because we are going to write a dictation based on these very same words that I have just introduced. They were taken up from a text which we are going to practice to write. You will need a piece of paper and a pen. You can use the chat box if you are lazy, but it's dictation time, so let's practice writing, spelling as well. The text is about a doctor. So, but we will write a kind of unusual dictation. I call it buzz dictation because you can use any sound to cover the missing words. For example, you can sneeze, you can cough, you can make a buzz sound. And when you hear the sound, you will have to continue writing, but in your own way. So I will give you just the beginning and you introduce the missing words. Ready? A piece of paper and your pen. Okay, and the text sounds like this. One day, a man went to see his doctor and said to him. One day, a man went to see his doctor and said to him. One day, a man went to see his doctor and said to him, direct speech, I have, instead of ch, you write your own continuation. I have, ch. The doctor thought for a few seconds and then said. The doctor thought for a few seconds and then said. The doctor thought for a few seconds and then said. Direct speech. All right, Mr. Lloyd, I will help you. All right, Mr. Lloyd, I will help you. Please. I will help you. Please. The doctor's nurse gave the man. The doctor's nurse gave the man. The man went to. The man went to. And the doctor. And the doctor. So we can stop here. And let me put you now in groups and you can share what do you have. Let's just read your piece of text to the people who are with you in the group. Okay, breakout rooms, I don't have them. Yes, found.
Doctor and said to him, I have a sore throat.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor thought for a few seconds and then said, all right, Mr. Lloyd, I will help you. Please open your mouth. The doctor's nurse gave the man nothing. I don't know what.
The receipt or the medicine list, probably.
First I wrote a pill, but the man went to the doctor and the doctor wrote the receipt.
Gave the man the receipt. The man went to the drugstore or the pharmacy, and the doctor was really happy to have helped the man.
Everybody can come up with their own end of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What other versions do you have?
I had a strange situation, and the man said, I have a dog. The doctor advised him to feed the dog, gave some meat, and the man returned to the dog, and the doctor laughed.
Okay.
Could
That's
we
also
say
a
a
good one.
word or a phrase?
You
Sorry?
can also, Mary, yes.
You can come with
phrase.
what you want.
Whatever we want, it doesn't matter. A word or a phrase.
Okay. Who has some other versions? Do you have a phrase, Miss Oksana?
Yes, I do have a story. One day a man went to see his doctor and said to him, I have a backache. The doctor thought for a few seconds and then said, all right, Mr. Lloyd, I'll help you. Please undress. The doctor's nurse gave the man an examination. I mean, because the doctor was afraid to do that in the situation of the virus. The man went to the pharmacy and the doctor forgot about him.
Very nice. I like it. So whichever approach you have, yes, inserting only a word or phrase, it might work. It works both ways. Anyone else? Well, everybody has the same words.
Yeah, same. Almost the same story.
Yeah, for me as well.
We think likewise.
Okay, we have the same. Okay, so time is up. We did it very time appropriate. We can return to the large room.
Thank you.
Much the same. Yeah. Some words coincided.
Okay. What was the problem? Why did he go to the doctor?
We had different health problems. Headaches, flu, cough. Fever.
Okay. What do you see as an advantage of such kind of dictation?
We improve our vocabulary.
Pronunciation.
Okay. Vocabulary, pronunciation.
Revise their vocabulary.
Revised, yes, that they were writing first, they practiced spelling.
Spelling also, yeah.
As well.
The spelling, the phonetics, pronunciation. The structure of the sentence.
Also, it improves communication and creativity.
Right, because like the dictation is open-ended. You can insert any word you want. But it should make sense.
Specific vocabulary.
Perfect. So you discovered all the beauty of this dictation.
Also it develops collaboration.
Exactly, because you discuss in group, you compare.
Yeah, yes. So it is also very funny and interesting for students.
Yeah.
Yes.
They like to maybe to laugh after that if the stories are comic or funny.
Yes. Yes.
A easy technique, but a very meaningful one.
Right.
So you catch two birds with one stone, because from the one part you review the vocabulary,
You can create your own
vocabulary,
text. Like,
but on the second part, on the other part, it's very funny and interesting for them.
Yeah, communication, cooperation when we discuss in groups. Right. So that's the text I took randomly from Elementary Stories for Reproduction. And the problem was that the man came to the doctor because he swallowed a horse. And then you can read the original one and compare whose stories is the funniest. And like lots of things you can do with just one simple text. Okay, so this was buzz dictation. As I said, they should continue the sentence or continue the story so that it has logic. And another thing, it's a kind of game based on the TV program Dialogica, where there is logic which we can transform into language practice or words practice in our class. It requires a little bit time to prepare from the teacher, but you can also nominate some students who will be responsible for this. If you have seen it on TV, you know how it works. There is a range of pictures that codes some kind of proverb or phrase or expression, whatever. And using your logic, you have to decode what is the phrase which is coded in pictures. Yes, so can you decode what is this English proverb which is coded in pictures?
A pen is mightier than a sword.
Right. The pen is mightier than the sword. Movie line. Somebody in the movie said it. Elementary, my Snow White.
Elementary, Watson.
Yeah, my
dear
dear Watson. Dear sounds the same, yes, but spelling is different. But anyway, when you pronounce it, elementary, my dear Watson. Another movie line.
I will be back.
Yes, I will Smith, verb to be, am is are, and back. I will be back. Movie line, and we coded this. And this one we used when we played a battleship game related to vocabulary about family, idiom.
Own flesh and blood.
Right, my own flesh and blood, something related to me. Perfect. So with younger kids, we can code not phrases, but words. And for word lists that we have to study, we can invent any codes. Like you can omit the vowel sounds, like I have seen it, some teachers do, or we can come up with different codes. For example, this one, you take first letter of each picture and you reconstruct the word. What is the word? Yes, teacher. And we can do it for any unit, related topical vocabulary, farmer, and so on. Means of transport. Can you guess them?
The first is boat.
Bike. The first is boat.
Boat.
Bike.
Brush, ice cream, koala, eggplant. Bike.
Taxi.
Yes.
Taxi.
And train.
Taxi.
Taxi.
Taxi, turkey, apple, xylophone, ice cream. First letter of each picture, and you have the word. The same, you assign the list of words to the students that they have to learn. They code it, they exchange it, swap the papers and so on, and they are engaged and try to decode the vocabulary. Coding, decoding. Connected with words. If we want to complicate things, we can go to the next stage and work with sentences. This activity is called sentence chain game. One person says a few words. Words are what make sentences. Sentences finish with a full stop. Stop, you've broken it. It is time to go to bed. Bed, lamp, wardrobe are things in my bedroom. So the person who says a sentence finishes with a word. Another one has to take this word and start the next sentence. So the last word is bedroom. Can you use it in the sentence so that it's the first word?
Bedroom, the place where we go to sleep.
Bedroom is a place where we sleep. Sleep. Next sentence.
Sleep is important for our health.
For our health. Health. Next sentence.
Health is the greatest blessing.
Blessing, and so on. See? And we can do it with the whole class. We can do it in pairs, in teams, and so on. And we practice sentence structure. So this game, students have no control about it. So it's not kind of game, it's an interactive exercise. The same as if you use a dice, it's all based on luck. Students cannot control, they cannot come up with their own strategies, so it's just lucky chance. But still it can be very interactive when we teach or when we study revised words. For example, we can kind of a round up of several units. We start the dice, stop, 4. Elena, can you name 4 red things?
An apple, heart, rose, what else? A car. And how many did I,
okay.
How many did I mention? 4. Yes. Tomato. Someone helps me.
4. That's fine. Blood. Yes, perfect. Nominate somebody who will continue.
My friend Rodika.
Rodika, tell me when to stop.
Stop. Stop.
4 things that are cold.
Ice cream. What else? It's cold.
Water.
Can be cold. Snow. And
beer.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, beer. Perfect. Choose another person who will continue.
Cornelia, please.
Stop.
Cornelia, tell me when to stop.
Stop. Things that can fly.
Yes, 5 things that can fly.
A plane can fly, a bird can fly, dreams can fly. What else? Parrots.
Fly in their dreams.
Yes, people in their dreams can fly.
Time.
And,
Time flies.
in the future, cars will be able to fly.
Time.
Perfect, perfect. Yes, time flies, kite flies, thoughts fly. Perfect ideas. Thank you, everyone. And this is how we can revise vocabulary and even some structures. Can or cannot. Topical vocabulary, things you buy in a grocery, things you can see at the seaside. So, but it's a random luck. You cannot control what kind of topic you're going to speak about. The same thing I do also with dice and do it online. For example, we had a lesson where some new phrases were introduced and we have to drill them to make them active vocabulary. Again, I took several phrases from a family lesson. And the second column is for places of things. Usually I ask my students to complete it so that it means something to them. Maybe some things, places they have visited or people they know, like I have my neighbor Igor, who is very noisy all the time, President Trump, a famous person, Golden Gate Bridge, Stefan Cel-Mare Park. So let's add together a word to the first column and 2 words, places or things to the second one. An association or a phrase from the family topical vocabulary. What would that be? Can you suggest one?
A skeleton in the cupboard.
Be in love. Gabriela, thank you. You were the first who will use your word. And 2 things, 2 places, or 2 people.
Paris.
Harry Potter. Perfect. And Eiffel Tower. Okay. Romantic lunch by lovers. Oh, that's already half of the sentence. So we do it this way. We start the dice. They are rolling online. Suddenly it's stopped and we have 3 get on well with somebody and 6 Eiffel Tower. And you have to use it in 1 sentence. You can use the chat box and combine get on well with Eiffel Tower. A crazy sentence, like the crazier the better.
if we get on well, we'll visit Eiffel Tower.
Oh, that's very modest sentence, I would say. Yes, grammatically correct. Nice.
Okay.
Something unusual, a crazy one.
If you want to get on well with your wife, bring her to the Eiffel Tower.
Okay, better this time. I get on well only visiting the Eiffel Tower. Get on well with somebody, like you need to specify with whom. Climb the Eiffel Tower and you'll get on well with your girlfriend. Yes, climb the Eiffel Tower.
Can get on well with everyone when you visit Eiffel Tower, or
Okay,
when you are
probably. Yes. And so you got the idea how it works. It's now complicated. You have to create your own sentence, grammatically correct. You can use any like conditional, perfect, past, but the task is to make it crazy and to combine two things. If I get well with this pandemic, I will go to Eiffel Tower. Yeah. As soon as you get on with your parents, you will visit the Eiffel Tower. Oh yeah, a kind of blackmail. Okay, so crazy sentence, and you can also play with dice online, electronic one. Speaking about dices, you can also, speaking about dice or die, yeah, you can also create stories, and you probably know this. So when we had offline lessons, I used like real things. I'll just stop sharing so that you can see. Like in some of our workshops, I brought even a box with different dice, and they are from wood. And I just change the pictures on them. Depends what kind of topic we study. And we roll it and have to come up with a story using all the images on the dice. You can also do it with the help of your app. So you download this dice story online. Shake your app, you can make a screenshot, you can choose different categories there, upload the screenshot and share it with your students, and they will write stories online. Yeah. So easy to do. We'll go back to sharing. And how else can we adapt this story dice? Any ideas?
For degrees of comparison, maybe.
Yes, but how can you use it in an online setting? So I have a bunch of things. Usually my students touch it, roll it, and then they make up a story. I can come up with an app where we will shake the screen, share this picture, and make up the story. What else can we do?
Maybe the first group starts with the first picture, one sentence, then the second group roll the dice and they got a picture and make the second sentence like a snowball story.
Okay,
a chain story.
Yeah.
A chain
that can
story.
also work. And if you were present at Rob Howard's presentation, he also used pictures which were already set in groups, and you had just to come up with a story. Yes? Find an odd die and make a sentence with it. The most crazy story competition. Yes, but like I am thinking of some technical moments. How can you share this dice with your students, the images? One idea is you do it like a snowball, you make a screenshot of the app, you arrange already preset pictures and they make up the stories like Rob did. Or another thing which I also found online recently, it's called roll the story. Continue the story, yes. But you have already, if it's a story, it consists of several elements. You have your setting, where the story happens and when. You have a place, yes. You have a character, minor character, main character, and you have a problem that you need to solve or find the solution in your story. So I just took this random ready-made worksheet to demonstrate the idea. The topic is winter, roll a story, and we have different beginnings. So again, as the teacher in an online setting, you can share your screen with this worksheet. You can start your die. 5 will be 4. It happened on the rainiest night in January. So we have our setting. Now let's choose the place. 4. 4 in a tiny room in the basement. Okay, something scary. Night in January, tiny room in basement. Let's choose the character. 1, a little old man. A little old man. And the problem. 5. 5 walked through my front door. So it happened on the rainiest night in January, in a tiny room in my basement, when a little old man walked through my front door. What did he want? Why did he come through my front door? Why was I in the basement? Some questions we can answer. And we will try to create the story, working and collaborating in groups again. So how will we do it online? I have created a Padlet. Let me show it to you. Yes, so I guess you know how to work it. It's called Story Dice. You press this plus button, click anywhere on the background, and appears this square. You will write here the name of your group, and together with your group, you will come up with a story to find the resolution, like why did he come, what did he want? So the link I will share in chat. And you nominate somebody in your group as the person who will share the screen. The rest can supply the ideas. One will type, the rest will contribute. Who is the best typer in your group? You decide. So let's check, what are we going to do? Are we going to write a story or tell it orally? Write or tell?
Write.
Yes. Are we going to work individually or in groups?
In groups.
Can everybody in the group share the screen or only one person?
Only one.
Perfect. So you know what to do. I will start the, can you access the link?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you will have 5-7 minutes to compile your stories. I will send you into breakout rooms and we'll upload that picture that we have just rolled this story in our Padlet, so it will be visible to everyone. Okay.
Seems to me we shouldn't write the beginning. We should write the continuation. A room in my basement, a little old man walked through my... And how many sentences should be there?
We haven't been told.
Uh-huh. Front door.
I think we have to write here our story.
Yes, we have to write. It happened on the rainiest night in January.
But we have the beginning. We have to continue.
No, we have to make up a story, actually.
Yes, using these hints.
The information. This is the setting. We are to use it.
Yes, we have.
So let's
Yes,
start
we
with
have to
it,
start
and
with
then
it.
we will, It happened on the rainiest night in January.
Should we change it?
I think we can add some.
Or should we continue?
We can
Yes, in these hints.
we can a little old man.
Yeah.
Sitting.
Suddenly I heard a noise in my basement. So
yes. So suddenly I Suddenly, I heard a noise in my basement.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Okay.
Walked. Now, well, maybe to introduce this.
When I went downstairs, I saw how an old man was drinking my wine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
When I went
Downstairs.
Yes.
When I went
When I went
downstairs.
to check, maybe.
Yeah.
When I went downstairs to check it. No, when I went downstairs simply.
I saw.
I saw a little old man.
Drinking my best wine.
Yeah. When I went downstairs, I saw little old man drinking, yes, my
Wine.
wine.
And the last is walked through my front door. Walked through my front door.
when he finished it.
Walked through my front door.
Maybe
he was alone.
Turned out to be my
decided to
uncle.
invite him in my house.
No, he was already in my house. He was already in my house. It turned out to be my uncle, and in a minute, all our relatives walked through my front door.
Okay, can you repeat the beginning?
It turned out.
It
оказалось, что это мой дядя пусть будет.
It turned out.
Да,
it turned out
to be
my uncle.
It turned out to be my uncle. Quickly.
To be my uncle, and I invited him.
No. And in the second, all other relatives walked through my front door.
All my relatives, yes.
All my other relatives.
Walked
through the front door to join him.
And we had a nice party.
And Moldova,
in the basement.
Right, and then my uncle, and in a second, all my other relatives walked through my front door to join our party, maybe something like that. To share, maybe. To share
our party.
To share our wine drinking, something like that.
Or probably walked through my front door and we had a nice...
I hope you enjoyed writing the stories. I do understand that all that time that you had is not enough to finish it, but at least you saw how it works. And we have the beginnings of different stories. One about policeman, a leprechaun, Santa Claus. So all very different ideas, very creative. And again, it was collaboration, writing stories together, practicing English. And we have even here different tenses because we narrated the story. Was scared, had taken pills, I didn't remember that I had taken pills, something like that. So all the narrative tenses. Thank you for being so collaborative and involved. And to finish the presentation, let's go back to the quote we started with. We acquire the language when we understand it. It has to be interesting and it has to be a lot of it. So I hope it was interesting. And to be a lot of it, we just have to surround the students with this language, make them read, write, listen to it, and then the progress will come and it will be visible.